Hi everybody, I'm Philip VanDusen, and today I'm going to talk to you about brand perception mapping. On this channel, I share insights on strategic branding and graphic design. And today we're going to talk about a strategic tool called a brand perception map. Fortune 500 companies use this tool in order to map their competition and make decisions about their business, and I'm going to show you how you can use the tool as well to benefit and succeed in your business. And for creative professionals, this is an audit tool that's used frequently when doing branding work. So what is a brand positioning? A brand positioning is where your brand owns its position in the consumer's mind, and where it owns position in the marketplace or against its competition. Brand positioning is a strategic tool that's used in business planning, product development, and strategic marketing. If you want to learn more about brand positioning, I did a previous video called Brand Positioning Statements where I go into more detail about it, so you can check that video out. What we're going to talk about today, though, is a brand perception map. This maps visually where your brand sits in the marketplace and where it sits in relation to its competition. It's a visual map where you actually place representations of the other brand's products or services on an XY axis, and those XY axes represent market dimensions. And I'll go into more about what market dimensions are in a minute. But how it's used and where it's used is it's used in launching new brands, doing brand strategy, in looking at new products or services that are entering the market, whether if your competition is changing, what's happening in that competitive analysis, and also if there are new markets or new opportunities developing, how your brand's going to address those. Perceptual maps define and illustrate where your brand is in the market. It illustrates the way consumers or customers perceive the characteristics of your business and competing brands or products. On those XY axes are generally the extremes of market dimensions. So here's a list of market dimensions that are sometimes represented on those axes. It could be, an X-axis that ranges from high price to low price, or in quality from high quality to low quality. It could represent lifestyle, active versus sedentary, or product attributes, trendy versus classic style, for instance. It could be based on occasions or need. It could be based on the user, the consumer, male, female, old versus young. It could be quality, so high quality versus low quality. Or it could even be geographic location, or sometimes channel, so maybe physical retail versus online. So let me show you an example of what a perceptual map looks like. In this case, we're going to have an X-axis that ranges from classic to trendy. And this is going to be classic style to trendy style. We're going to map apparel brands. And on the Y-axis, we have it ranging from luxury, so high price, to value, or low price. And what we're going to do is map brands on these XY axis. So in the lower left quadrant, we have the Gap, Nautica, LL Bean, Joseph A. Bank. Gap lives very on the classic range, but kind of mid-price between value and luxury. LL Bean, for instance, might be even more classic and a little more value. You see where I'm going with this? Nautica might be a little more towards trendy than Gap, but just slightly lower in value. In the upper left quadrant, we have higher price brands, so J. Crew, Banana Republic, Polo, that are, again, towards the classic range of the style spectrum, but also higher in prices than the ones that are in the lower left quadrant. And we've placed these in orientation to each other. So Banana Republic would be, higher level of price or luxury, but a little trendier than, say, Fred Perry or Tommy Hilfiger. In the lower right quadrant, we have Old Navy, Lucky Brand, Armani Exchange. Old Navy is kind of in between trendy and classic, but it's very low price. H&M, on the other hand, is much trendier, but also very low price. In the upper right quadrant, we have the luxury trendy brands. So we have Emporio Armani or Louis Vuitton, Prada, which are very trendy but very high in price. You could have something that's a little less trendy, Abercrombie and Fitch, and slightly lower in price, but definitely not a value brand, something like Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, the interesting thing about these perceptual maps is that you map where brands are, but also where possible opportunities are for new brands or new products to occur. So down in the low price, kind of mid-classic, but towards the classic range, maybe more classic than Old Navy, is a possible opportunity for a new company or a new brand. Brands also change. The marketplace never stands still. So brands are always moving into new territory or changing their offering or what they do. So Gap might be very much in the classic range right now, but what they might be wanting to do in their business is move more towards the trendy spectrum. So Gap might actually be on the move kind of across this map. Tommy Hilfiger, sometimes in the cases of a market, what the consumers are driving the brand to do. In the case of Tommy Hilfiger, it might be getting driven by consumer demand more towards value pricing and not able to command that luxury price that maybe it used to half a decade ago. Brands also move and encroach on each other. So Old Navy might be attacking H&M's business and trying to move, but in the value category, more towards trendy to really attack the success that H&M is having. Some of the questions that you might ask when you're mapping is who's moving, who's being attacked, what's the destination of where you're going or where other people are going. Is there an opportunity? Is there an open space in the map of the competitive marketplace where there's an opportunity for a new product or brand? Is there a new market? So in many cases, there are markets that open up out of nowhere. So in the case of mobile phone-enabled car sharing, so Lyft and Uber were brand new markets that had never existed before because of the technology and what that brought about. Zipcar, another example. When you're making a perceptual map, always make sure that you try to get other opinions because you can map it yourself, but other consumers and people perceive things in different ways. So it's sometimes real fun to actually kind of work on this with a group of people and see how your opinions and your ideas of brands actually relate to each other. So to summarize, perceptual maps will make you closely examine the competitive landscape. It'll capture where you are and also where you want your brand to go. It'll force you to make some very key decisions about where your brand's going to sit in the landscape, and it'll give you a framework to direct all of your work efforts. It's also a living document, so it should be revisited and revised on occasion because, like I said, the market never stands still. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit subscribe below so you can see my videos as they come out, and visit me at my website, philipvandusen.com. I'd love to engage with you on your brand and hear about your successes and challenges. And while you're there, subscribe to my newsletter, Brand Muse, that comes out every 2 weeks where I share resources and trends and insights on branding and design. And so that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.